everybody. Welcome into Early Edge Live. The chat is already hopping. It's one of our favorite hours of the entire week. This is the Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting, and it is not close. Now, when we count down to Monday Night Football, we do best bets. We do props. We do the gem, formerly known as the VJM. We've got a donkey tonight. We've got a goose tonight. But you know if you're going to get that, you have to earn it. I need 500 likes. Take the chat down. Hit that like button. Put it right back up and start talking your trash, just like you know how to do. And you know on Monday nights, I've got three of the biggest stars in the Early Edge universe. But tonight, I got to be honest with you. Before we get to business, we've got a little dissension in the ranks. First and foremost, let me get introductions out of the way. Live from Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, the penthouse level. M Squared, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. Proppy, see you. Great to see you guys. Hello, everybody out there. The donkey is back tonight, and it's an AFC West game, which means I absolutely love it. My favorite division in football as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, but I love this game tonight. I think it's going to be an awesome game.
And a lot of people missed the donkey last night, but apparently that was a feeling by a lot of people that they were missing something that I'll get into in a second. Now, also, he's the best-looking man in all of the Early Edge universe, and apparently a hell of a basketball player as well. See you, Najat. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yeah, if you saw it on Twitter, on the SportsLine account, or maybe on my account, I'm calling my shot tonight. I was pretty sure I was hitting Curtis Samuel Thursday night, and he dropped a touchdown. So now I am 100% sure that I am hitting the first touchdown scored tonight. And I did something earlier today to really give me the right karma. I've got the right play, so stay tuned.
Somebody on social media said the over-under was 4.5 on takes it took you to make that shot, and they wanted a showdown with one of us. I said, I'm going to take the under. I know my guy. I'm going to take the under.
I mean, I can tell you right now, it was 5 takes, and I actually made 2 of them. I'll post the second video. I just didn't like how it went in on the second one. It kind of like it hit the rim a little bit, and the net looked weird. But I'll post both videos.
It happens when you're shooting from 75 feet.
Yeah.
Now, a man who has been very busy the last 24 hours for a lot of different reasons. Prop Stars, good evening, sir. How are you?
Coach, I am well. Mikey, cousin Sia, great to see everybody. I'm excited. We've got a fun matchup. I like these AFC West showdowns quite a bit as well.
Yeah, I'm sure we all do, and I'm sure they also want us to get to the actual picks, but I don't even know how I feel about it. My heart is racing right now because I don't even know what to do. So yesterday, just a quick backstory. Me and Sia win a showdown in the afternoon. Alex paid me before the game was over. And then I lose a showdown on a missed field goal because the Cowboys suck. Last night, I paid him before midnight, which is the rules of the game. And just moments ago, I found out that the legend that is Prop Stars has yet to pay Sia Najad. See, is that true?
It is true. I have not seen any showdown money in my account, and I don't know what to say. I'm shocked. I'm disappointed. I don't know what to say.
I mean, there's so many words that you could use. Embarrassing? I mean, that's one that Mikey, what word would you use, Mikey? What would you use?
I would just use the word interesting. It's just interesting.
Look at him wanting to sit on that fence right now. Oh, I'm not sitting on that fence. Oh, Alex, speak for yourself. What is going on?
There's some serious beef between cousin Sia and I, and it's going to be handled off stream. I don't want to get into it now. Sia knows what he's done. No, I am just kidding. I honestly didn't have Sia's contact information. He sent it to me. I didn't have it. I have never welched on a bet in my life. I ask anybody that's ever wagered with me if I've ever welched. My credit is pristine, Coach. 100%. Sia will receive that Venmo very likely before this stream concludes. And my apologies, Sia, as well for the delay.
Apology accepted.
You're on the thread, right? All of us are on that same thread that we text all the time. You're on that, right? Oh, interesting.
Coach, you should see how many threads exist in my text logs.
It's okay. We got to get to it. People are like, hey, we got to get to it. Hey, listen, I just run the show. I don't make the rules. I just run the show. All right, let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got best bets. We have props. It's a big game. We got a goose and we got a donkey as well. If you have a prop that you are looking at and you like, throw it into the chat. We'll try to get to as many as we possibly can. Add the juice as well, because that absolutely matters. But as you know, for those of you who watch these shows all the time, there's so many of you. Thank you. You know we start with our best bets. So, Alex, I know earlier on N5 you gave one out there's been an interesting development just a little bit. Why don't we start with yours?
Yeah, I did, Coach. And we have a rare exception here where a prop that I gave out is actually moved in the opposite direction. I'm going to explain why. I gave out Melvin Gordon over 70.5 combined rushing and receiving yards on the early edge and 5 just a few hours ago. However, you can find this at 68.5 on DraftKings right now. That is largely in part, in my opinion, because Latavius Murray is activated. He's going to be the running back 3, in my opinion, for this Broncos backfield behind Mike Boone and behind Melvin Gordon. I still anticipate and tentatively expect Melvin Gordon to operate as the RB1 for this Broncos team. So yeah, I still like this prop. However, I will, give you all the information, do with it what you want to. But with Javonte Williams going on injured reserve 2 weeks ago, Melvin took over as the lead back last week against the Colts. He finished with 103 total yards on 18 touches, which was very solid against a very difficult Colts defense that I might add ranks 6th in rushing DVOA. Now he's facing the Chargers, his old team. They're 22nd in rushing DVOA. They also have given up 123 yards per game to opposing running backs. That's the 3rd most in the NFL this season. They also surrender almost 40 yards per game through the air to opposing running backs as well. We saw Melvin handle 3 catches last week for nearly 50 yards, which is why I like this combination prop as well. It's a good matchup on paper, in my opinion. And even in the event that the Chargers are able to get up in this game, I do think Melvin will be utilized in the short area passing game, which is why this is my favorite angle, is this combination line. However, if you don't have access to it, I do like his rushing line as well.
What would you play it up to? I'm sure you said it, but let me ask you again.
So it's less than what I gave it out at. So you can probably get it. You can probably get this number at less than what I offered. I'd probably play it up to still 71.5, 72.5 if it hasn't moved on your book.
Okay. My book just had it 71.5, which was the reason I was asking that question. All right, Alex, thank you very much. All right, see, let me come to you because you have one prop you like tonight, and I think it's a perfect opportunity to educate the people at home that when you see a low number, sometimes there's a reason, but also sometimes you can bang it. Talk to me.
Exactly. So what I like to do, especially with these sort of like backup running backs or even starting running backs, is to identify a trend. I think a few weeks ago we identified it with Breece Hall and Michael Carter. And this isn't the same situation, but I am identifying a trend with Joshua Kelly and Sony Michel, as opposed to Austin Ekeler, of course. It looks like Sony Michel's snap share has gone down, justifiably so, because he's the less talented running back versus Joshua Kelly. Last game, Joshua Kelly had 10 rushes. He had 2 targets. He caught both, by the way. But his snap share went up commensurate with those rushing attempts. He's getting red zone carries as well. And the Broncos are allowing over 5 yards per carry. That's good for 27th in the league. So I like the trend that I'm seeing with Joshua Kelly, which is why I like Joshua Kelly's over of 21.5 rushing yards. Another note here, I did look at Nick Cathrell. I believe he covers the Los Angeles Chargers. And on Twitter, he actually has a quote from Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator for the Chargers, from just 3 days ago. And the quote was in response to a question about Joshua Kelly. And the quote was, "It feels like he has the hot hand and it will keep along that path, I think." And it certainly makes sense because Joshua Kelly, he's in his 2nd year. I think he's a pretty talented guy. He's 5'11", around 210, 212 pounds, runs a sub 4.5 40. This is the backup to Austin Ekeler. And I think he's going to get plenty of opportunities to eclipse this 21.5 rushing yards total at -120.
The beauty of this is that my guys always find the little nuggets that we try to get ahead of it, because if this continues and what Sia just told you continues, then this numbers every week is going to go up and up and up and get to a point where eventually you can't play it. But that's not tonight. Sia, thank you very much. Now, from a side perspective, Mikey, you're going straight up one side. Who do you like tonight?
Yeah, one side, unfortunately or fortunately, if you watched the Tuesday show and you wanted to come along with me, you got a much better number on it. But I played the Denver Broncos here, +5 on Tuesday on the Mega Preview. I like the spot for them a lot. I like these division games. I don't think it's a particularly difficult place to go play a football game. I like the controlled environment for Russell Wilson. I like that Melvin Gordon is active. I like that they've added some depth there. I think this is a spot where this Broncos team, while they've been frustrating to watch, they still have a really good defense, and they simply have run pretty bad in the red zone. They've moved the football. They've had scoring opportunities. At some point, we expect that to regress to even league average scoring in the red zone here. Look, I like the Broncos to keep it within 5. Potential backdoor cover situation here. This Chargers team gets gashed on the ground Getting gashed on the ground, not a good thing. And the reason why this Chargers team always finds themselves or seems to find themselves in competitive games is because when you get gashed on the ground, you can get into these battles where your offense is not on the football field, keeping Justin Herbert on the sidelines. Give me the Broncos +5.
Oh.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it, coach.
Give me a second. Give me a second. I need to see AB first. AB, where's that big old fat face that I love so much with that smile? So there he is. All right. Now, you got a couple of plays, and you're going to keep me from probably losing $100. The show's a long way from over, though, so we know it can happen at any time. AB, what do you like tonight, big boy?
Yes, sir. So I'll tell you what, we got 2 plays here, all right? And if I could put these on the screen, wow, that producer's doing a fantastic job.
Let's go.
All right. So first up, look, we're going to go Broncos first half team total over 9.5. And I'll tell you why. It sounds crazy. I get it. The Broncos legitimately just don't score points at all. But they do on the road, and they do in the first half of games, averaging 14.5 points per. And I think that the Broncos are going to have a better game than people think. So we're going to go with the Broncos team total first half over 9.5. Next, just play logically here. Justin Herbert is going to be playing from a negative game script, at least early in this game. He is going to put the ball in the air. I really like your play, coach, on Justin Herbert in terms of his over pass yardage. He's also going to throw an interception. That's going to happen. The Broncos defense is better than people give it credit for as well, especially if he's putting it in the air. So give me those two. And I know it sounds crazy, but again, everyone is thinking the Chargers are going to start off 28-0, and take that thought process, throw it in the trash, get rid of it, because that's not happening tonight.
All right. AV, thank you very much.
You don't seem confident in that. I'm just going to point that out.
I
Coach,
don't. Yes.
Well, why you mull over your showdown possibilities? Because I want to buy you a little bit of extra time, and because I can see you're unsure. This is breaking news. This is big. It impacts this game quite considerably. Lil Geppetto has paid me $100. Breaking.
I just got a text that said, "You're my friend on Venmo now." Clearly, you two weren't friends on Venmo. It just happened. I swear to God. Did you send that?
Yeah, I don't know how to use technology, so I'm just confirming 100 friend requests.
Of course you don't. All right, the chat, you got a lot of questions in there, so let's just go around the horn as fast as we can, because right now it's about 18 minutes till the top of the hour. And at the top of the hour, we'll do our donkey, our parlay, or our donkey, our goose, the gem, and recap our best bets for those that come in at the top of the hour. So, Mike Boone, over 27.5 rush yards. Mikey, let's start with you.
All right, Mike Boone. Let me sorry guys, I'm pulling up the data. Mike Boone, over 20. What was the number?
Over 27.5.
27.5. Slight lean on the over. Be cautious. Look, Melvin Gordon is active. They've got an additional back now as well. So someone is going to potentially lose out at some point here, in my opinion. So I'm not going to play the over, but I do have the number at 29.5.
All right. Alex Everett, over 30.5 receiving yards, and also his catch number is 3.5 minus 101.
I like both of these props, actually. I know Everett had a bit of a dud last week, but prior to that, his usage and involvement in the offense have been pretty steady, pretty consistent. No Keenan Allen tonight, and I do expect Mike Williams to have the unenviable task of battling Patrick Surtain most of the night, who is one of the league's top corners. So I think this is a decent spot for Everett, and I don't mind either of those.
I'm glad you brought up Mike Williams, because he is the go-to guy. When they were playing a couple weeks ago, Herbert said, "I'm going to throw it to you," and he was open a lot. So, see, I'm coming to you. His number is 68.5 tonight. Really good defense for the Broncos, but Mike Williams is a stud. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and the number's trending down on certain sites. I'm seeing it as low as 67.5 on DraftKings, for example. I don't love it because of that matchup. I honestly think that the Chargers are going to resort to the running game more than people are expecting here. I think we think of the Chargers as dynamic passing team, which they can be. But again, without Keenan Allen and with some poor matchups, like versus the Denver secondary, which is very formidable, I think we're going to see a lot more rushing, a lot more dump offs to guys like Gerald Everett or Joshua Palmer, players like that. So it's just a number I'm going to stay. If anything, I'd take the under, but I'm staying away from it.
All right, to back up what Alex just said. Alex, go.
Yeah, so with the Chargers, they're an interesting team. Since Justin Herbert's taken over as quarterback of the team, they've been one of the most weighted teams towards the pass. They're very pass heavy. They don't really run the football that much. We saw them get off to a very slow start this season when they were weighted very heavily towards the pass. But what did they do the last 2 weeks? They shifted way more towards the run. We saw Austin Ekeler had a massive game last week, also had that 3-touchdown performance the week prior against the Texans. So when this team has since become more run heavy, they've had more success. They won the last 2 games, and I think that's going to be the path of least resistance against this Broncos defense. This Broncos defense has a very good secondary. They're without their top receiver in Keenan Allen, and they've had success on the ground, plus the emergence of a guy like Joshua Kelly, who Sia mentioned. So I expect, as long as this game is competitive and the Chargers aren't trailing in this game, for them to continue to run the football, since they've had a lot of success doing that the past 2 weeks, and I expect that to continue tonight.
And we are also on Ekeler over 60.5 rush yards from the morning show as well. That kind of feeds in to what Prop Stars is talking about. Mikey, let me come back to you, and let's go to the other side, because we saw last week, I think it was Hamler that slammed his helmet into the ground when he was wide open, right? And then you got Courtland Sutton and Judy, who are like, we don't know what's going on because they're supposed to be 2 studs. Let's talk about Sutton and Judy for a second then. Here are the numbers: over 4.5, over 65.5 for Sutton. Then for Judy, just over 3.5, over 51.5 tonight. And those are numbers before the season, Mikey, we thought we would never see, but that's where they are.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think some of them are still, I think the Judy number is correct personally. I have a slight lean on the under on Judy actually here. I have 48 yards on him. Sutton is clearly the guy. He's the bigger receiver, the possession receiver. That's what Russ finds himself needing a lot of the time here. So I'm still leaning over on Sutton. I've played him a number of different ways, always on alt lines here in this spot, but I still have a very healthy number on him. I'm every week I'm 10 plus yards above where the books are. So I've got Sutton up to 76 yards tonight.
Okay. Very, very good. Hopefully they'll have a breakout. Alex, go.
Yeah, Mike hit the nail on the head with Sutton. He is the guy as far as this Broncos pass catchers are concerned. He has a 28% target share, a 41% air yard share. That is elite stuff when we're looking at that potential recipe for a spike game. I talk about it all the time. We're looking for the deep A dot coupled with the big volume. He gets both of those. He's been outstanding. I agree. When he's in this mid 60-yard range, he's a must play. In my opinion, he possesses huge upside, and this is a potential spike game for him. Pretty much every time he's on the field, he is. So I think this is a good matchup. And yeah, I think Sutton is a must play when he's sitting in the mid 60 yards range. And he's been the guy. He has the best chemistry with Russ. He's his first read, his first progression, and I love what I've seen from Sutton. So big on Sutton, and going to continue to be as long as the books keep laying these numbers on him in the mid-60s.
But see, I know all the numbers and everything that Mikey and Alex are saying is correct, but the one thing we haven't talked about tonight, or I haven't heard all week, and maybe it's not an issue, is the injury to Russell Wilson. He's hurt. It's a lat. I don't know if you've ever had a lat injury. It's painful. And to play the quarterback position, that's a hard injury to have. Now, there is a question in the chat. His rushing number is 13.5. So if you could incorporate that in your take on him, I would love that.
On Russell Wilson's rushing number.
Yes. Over 13.5.
Yeah, I don't really like it. I mean, if I would, that's a really close line. I would call it an efficient line, like Alex likes to say. It's a stay away for me. And I do think that shoulder injury is interesting. And I also, one thing that struck me about the Courtland Sutton prop in particular is that I don't know that Wilson, whether it's his arm or whether it's just being in bad form or whether it's his offensive line, I don't know that he trusts his offensive line enough to go through his reads. And that's why we see him kind of lock on to receivers like we see some quarterbacks do, like Carson Wentz, for example, where he just stares down his first read and then he throws it. That's what I worry about with Russell Wilson in this game. And I actually think it inures to the benefit of Courtland Sutton. So to the extent we've talked about Courtland Sutton props and overs, I really think Sutton is sort of the guy, and JC Jackson probably, he's not going to fully shadow necessarily, but he's probably going to be on him a lot. Jackson hasn't really found his footing yet. He's kind of been injured coming back from ankle surgery, and I worry about him really covering any wide receiver one at this point. So I like the Sutton play. I would be off any sort of Wilson props, particularly rushing.
Yeah, some props have actually taken it off. Mine still has the Herbert rushing prop, does not have the Wilson rushing prop. Interesting. Herbert's 9.5 minus 112. What's your thoughts? Mikey, let me come to you because we have not even talked about the total yet. And so far in primetime games, it's been an under fest. What do your numbers say tonight?
Yeah, I have it mostly efficient here in this one, just a slight lean towards the over. I'm expecting a lot more efficiency offensively from Denver. I expect them to be able to run the football, which is going to not only allow them to put themselves in the red zone, but it's going to open things up where I think Russ is able to hit a big play or two in this game. So I know that we've had a ton of unders. I will potentially be adjusting my position on it during the game if things aren't looking good on the Russell Wilson front or the Melvin Gordon front. But right now, it's a very, very slight lean towards the over. Very confident we see between 44 and 50 points in this game.
Very interesting. Great information as well. As always. Alex, let me come to you because we've talked about Austin Ekeler, but we have not talked about his combo number tonight. And he's been going bananas a couple weeks ago. You cashed a plus 2,500 ticket when he scored 3 touchdowns, according to you, when he had 0 prior to that game. It was legendary. But what do we think about that tonight?
I like Austin Ekeler tonight. There's the guy's been obviously playing super well. You look at his last 2 weeks. Again, I think his involvement and his role is growing, and as a result, the Chargers are winning. So I think they're going to continue to lean on him. He is the best player, in my opinion, the best skill position player, and they need to continue to lean on him. I think they're going to continue to run the football quite a bit. So, yeah, I really like Sia's prop as well. But as far as Ekeler is concerned, I like his combination line. I love his usage. They also, though, however, as great as Ekeler is, he's super efficient. They don't want to give him too many carries. He's not a bigger guy, and we see what happens when running backs are overworked. So he has an 18 to 20 touch limit. That's why I do like Sia's prop a lot with Josh Kelly. So even if Ekeler is heavily involved, he rarely eclipses 15, 16, 17 rushing attempts, and you know he's good for 5 to 6 targets in the game. So yeah, I think it's going to be a big Ekeler night potentially, and I like his combination line.
Okay, very, very good. Now, you all know I'm a man of the people. And when somebody asks me for something that we weren't normally going to do, I'm going to do it. AB, bring yourself back on. You didn't even know I'm going to do it. We haven't even talked field goal kickers. He's our field goal whisperers. Please, on a night when the Broncos are playing, please talk to me about field goal kickers. It's a hidden gem type of bet. AB, what are we looking at tonight here?
Yeah, so decent on both sides, right? Like, I would feel okay playing. I generally lean way more towards Denver. Not only because I think that they're going to take any points that they can get early, and they're going to take any amount of points that they can get late, right? And we've seen their head coach go crazy decisions on 4th down and get hammered for it. That might not be in the play either. Like, I would lean way more Denver than I would Los Angeles, but yeah, like, I don't hate either. But Denver's the way to go. Like, McManus can kick deep.
By the way, do you think we'll see Staley make as many dumb decisions tonight as Cliff Kingsbury made yesterday?
Well, let me say this, Coach. I'm so glad that you said this because everyone hammers on that, on the Broncos coach Hackett, on McDaniels over Las Vegas. Dude, your boy with the Chargers invented this last year with crazy decisions, right? And he's got to calm down a little bit, too. We're going to block that bot. Bam, you're out of there. Yeah. But yeah, man, like, he's actually like kind of calmed down. Like, he seems normal now, right? Like, comparatively. So I would not mind seeing both coaches have like that anti-chess game to where they're just, it's almost like Battleship. Like, they're just going crazy. But yeah, man, like, there's some nuts that both of these coaches can do. Like, they can get crazy at it.
Crazy. Kingsbury took legit 9 points off the board. Legit. Yeah. Going for it on 4th and 4 from the what? I mean, it was just bananas. Absolutely.
Well, sorry, and that's it. Like, think about this. Like, and I know we're getting off topic here, but they just re-signed both him and Kyler to big money. The same agent, by the way.
That owner, he's saying, I'm writing these checks. By the way, can you guys imagine what it must have been like to watch that game with the Maestro yesterday when he was on the Cardinals on a showdown with RJ?
Ooh.
Yes, Alex.
Coach, yeah, Maestro and I watched that from the club together, and I know you guys weren't there because you haven't gotten in yet, but yeah, it was crazy. You should have seen just everybody, Maestro going nuts. Everybody, in the club was also hooting and hollering. We had such a good time despite them losing, but yeah, just shout out to Maestro. I'm going to see him in the club later tonight, so just wanted to put that out there, guys.
Why did I teach him so well? Why couldn't we have left him where we found him? How come we couldn't have done that?
Coach, you're too good at your job, and I'm going to hop out. But everybody,
so.
we need 140 likes. We need 140 likes. Get on it right now. We have almost 1,300 people watching, which is another record. We are literally setting records every single show. We need 140 likes. Hit that. And
that means there's a lot of new people watching. And for those of you who are brand new, we have two of the most fun things that you can play, but you got to earn it. We need 500 likes. Be a part of it. Don't say, hey, everybody else is going to do it. They'll hit the no. Do it yourself. Do it yourself.
Last thing, Coach. I want to show you the power of everyone in the Early Edge crew. They just hit it. That took 6 seconds. Well done.
Seconds. Just do it at the start of the show. That's all we got to do. But you guys are amazing. We couldn't do this without you. So we about 4 more minutes at the top of the hour. Then you guys know what we're going to do at the top of the hour. So, AB, thank you very much. Let's go around a couple others. We've talked about Hamler, but I don't believe we talked about his number, though. And Zach this morning is on his over 22.5 reception yards. Do we like that? Anybody want to take that one? Yes,
I'll take it here. I don't love it personally, but what I would be curious about is to see the gap between his total yardage and his longest reception. I think that what you're looking at with Hamler is likely a 1 to 2 catch night. So I personally would be on the longest reception if you're leaning towards the over on the yardage. I think the likely scenario is, I think the likely, that's where I would lean personally, would be on the longest reception over. I think the likely scenario is Melvin Gordon or the running game has enough success. Russ is able to hit him deep because of what Sutton and Judy command in the passing game. That's really the only way I personally would play it.
It's a really, really smart way. And a lot of books are starting to add those longest receptions for multiple receivers, not just the star receivers. So they're starting to figure it out. There's a lot more ways that we want to play and have a good time. Now, Alex, let me come to you because we've talked about a lot of guys. Is there anyone that we haven't hit on, anybody in the chat we haven't hit on, that when you were in the lab you said, let me keep my eye on that guy tonight? Anybody?
Off the top of my head, I'm glad we got to speak on Sutton, Melvin Gordon. As far as Charger skill position players are concerned, covering obviously Ekeler, Josh Kelly, Everett, Mike Williams we discussed. But yeah, I think Josh Palmer deserves a little bit of attention and love. I think he's going to continue to be involved. His usage is kind of fluctuated, but he has a very high route participation rate, which is what you look for. He's running a route on nearly every Justin Herbert drop back. So hasn't quite got the targets over the last couple of weeks, but he kind of has a wide range of outcomes. He could potentially end up with 7 to 8 targets tonight if this game ends up being pass happy, which I don't personally think it will, but just something to pay attention to as this game goes on.
So see, if it's not going to be pass happy, the last thing we'll hit on before we do the fun stuff is attempts and completions. If it's going to be a run funnel, let me give you the numbers. Because we've been cashing these a lot this year, it seems like to me. Let me get there. Completion, Wilson's just 19.5, Herbert's 23.5, and the attempts are 31.5 and 35.5 for Herbert.
Yeah, I actually looked at this just a few minutes ago. I think, it's interesting. The Justin Herbert over of 35.5 attempts is actually it's juiced to the over, which I would have thought it would have been the opposite way. I would have thought it would have been juiced to the under because of how I think this game is going to go. So I think I kind of like the under there at -105 for Justin Herbert. As far as Russell Wilson, I don't really have a take there. And then looking at the completions, again, it's juiced to the over for Justin Herbert over 23.5 at -135. I kind of like the under on both of those, but I like the pass attempts under more than I like the pass completions under for Justin Herbert.
Fair enough. In the chat, Joe says, Coach, with all these props, I wish you would do a weekly prop show. Alex, Sia, do you think we could do a weekly prop show?
That's a great
Coach,
idea.
Cousin Sia and I, we do a prop show every Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. It's the highlight of my week. I look forward to it more than anything. It's a whole hour where we just discuss props. We each give out 5+ props. To me, it's the most profitable prop betting show that exists anywhere, and I put us up against any other show.
Anybody. Right now, I think we're at yes, see it.
Sorry, I have to say, because it's really important that everybody knows that show is on Friday, because when we do our show on Sunday at noon Eastern, right before kickoff, Well, a lot of those lines have changed by then. Now, granted, some of these props come out like Wednesday, so you can potentially grab them then. But my point is Friday is a really good time to check in with your props and actually make the bets, because a lot of times guys like Alex will actually shift the lines just based on his information. So you really want to get in there at that prop show on Friday, again, 4:00 Eastern time.
I say it all the time, hashtag it pays to watch live. And you can also, if you're a SportsLine member, you can get Alex's article earlier than everybody else. It's about beating the number, and you know how good my guys are. We have people watching. We know that, and they move the number as soon as we give it out. So do that on Friday and turn on your notifications so you know when the show starts. That way you don't say, hey, do you guys do a prop show? All right. Now, we are officially right at the top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast, 5 o'clock in the West, where I'm sitting right now, 50 miles from SoFi Stadium, where they'll be playing tonight, the Broncos and those pesky LA Chargers that I think win by 6 tonight. So it's time to do 3 big things. All right? We're going to do the donkey first because you all missed it last night. You begged me for it. I just couldn't make it happen. Mikey was away on assignment. But we're back tonight, so let's put the donkey up. Mikey, you're up first, big boy.
All right, here comes the donkey tonight, plus 800. I will note there's also a boost out there. You can get this around plus 1,300, 1,400 if you use the boost. We're going Broncos, plus 14.5, over 35.5 total points in the game, under 55.5. We're going to middle that one. We're going Denver Broncos, team total, over 16.5 total points. Melvin Gordon, over 34.5 rushing yards. Austin Ekeler, over 29.5 receiving yards. And then Cortland Sutton and Mike Williams, both over 54.5 receiving yards. Put it all together here, plus 800.
All right, I see Melvin Gordon there very quickly. Mikey, another question in the chat. 12.5 rush attempts for Gordon is where it's at now. New viewer, minus 110. Quickly, is that a good bet?
I'm staying off of it personally because I don't know how Boone and Murray are both going to work into this one here. So I'm going to bank on his efficiency more than the opportunity.
All right, very good. All right, so that's the donkey. But here at the Early Edge Live, we like to give you more. We've got a donkey, but we also have a goose, and he is very important to the brand. He is Alex's cat, and he has inspired this parlay. Prop stars, you're up.
He's got a great track record as well, Coach. Yep, we're going with the goose here. First up, we've got Melvin Gordon, anytime touchdown. I've talked about this a lot, but for the new viewers, I like to build my same game parlays around an anytime touchdown scorer that I think offers some decent value. That's why I'm going Melvin Gordon around tonight. Then we've got Melvin Gordon over 35 rushing yards, just like Mikey. The Broncos to score more than 14 points. Austin Ekeler to have over 20 receiving yards, Justin Herbert to throw for less than 330 passing yards, and finally the Chargers to score under 32 points. Put that all together in a goose stew. We get plus 525 odds.
Kardik in the chat says the goose is loose. The goose is loose. See you real quick. One name we haven't even mentioned. Eric Saubert. Saubert. I always butcher his name. Over 13.5 yards, minus 120 quickly.
Yeah, I like that. I think that line has moved actually in a lot of places, but I would probably take the 13 now. Now, Greg Dulcich is active, but Albert O is inactive. So Dulcich is a guy who might get some work, but I would expect Saubert to get over that. It's not an official play of mine by any means, but I like that number.
All right, very good. All right, it is now time for the gym. And is it bothering me that Alex continues mercilessly to rub it in that he is hanging out in the club with the one man who's never been in the club, and that is the maestro, Larry Hartstein. So I cannot, in good conscience, allow this to go any longer than tonight. Mikey, you're up first. Go, please.
All right, Coach. Let's go Mike Boone here, backup running back here. We assume he's a backup running back. He should be the backup running back to Melvin Gordon. Look, Melvin Gordon is banged up. He's questionable. I think he's obviously active, going to play. Maybe they don't want him taking a few additional hits in the red zone at the goal line here. Mike Boone mixes in a little bit, can also catch passes out of the backfield. Give me Boone plus 1,200.
I like that one a lot. Now we go in order of next. Mikey invented this, so he gets to go first always, and then those that are in the club get to go next. So, alas, Alex, you're up next.
Okay, Coach, can you repeat what you just said? I just wanted to record that really quickly. What was that about? Who goes next?
people that are in the club already get to go next.
Gotcha.
Alex,
Thank you.
You're
Yep.
up.
We are going Cortland Sutton plus 1,200 odds. Mike and I talked about him, how much I love this guy. When we're looking at a 28% target share coupled with a 41% air yard share, that is the recipe for some potential spike games. I was actually surprised to see him in that plus 1,000 range. Saw him at plus 1,200 odds. Thought it was great. I think Russ is going to lock onto him tonight. He's got a great shot to score a touchdown.
The only reason this is over 1,000, because this guy's an absolute lock, is that the Broncos may not even score a touchdown tonight. That's how bad their offense has been. Now, we go from those that are in the club to those that have been in, and my name never comes up for some reason. Sia Najad, he's got like an OG membership into the club 3 times a year ago. The man cashed. You're up next, Sia.
Yeah, Alex, make sure you tell Marty and Phyllis I say hello. I'm sure they miss me. So here's the thing. I called my shot earlier today, and I'm just reinforcing it now. It's Joshua Kelly at plus 2,000 for your gem, for your VJM, for your first touchdown score. Like I said before, the part of the reason I'm on this prop, I think the path to touchdowns for the Chargers is through the run. The Broncos are giving up over 5 yards per carry. And when you get to the red zone, that's Joshua Kelly country, period. It's not going to be Austin Ekeler. It's going to be Joshua Kelly to punch you in the mouth and get in the end zone. I expect him to get the first touchdown.
I think I picked the wrong Joshua. I think I meant to say Joshua Kelly, and I said Joshua Palmer. Right? He is a player, though, right, Sia? Joshua Palmer does play for the Chargers, correct?
He is the 3rd famous Joshua in the world, behind Joshua Kelly and Joshua Tree.
That's very true. So the fact that he plays for the Chargers, I knew. The fact that he caught 3 passes, I knew that too. I'm tired of getting too complicated. So I went with a name, but not the same pick. So I'm trying to channel my inner Sia. And I'll go Joshua Palmer plus 13. All right, Jake the Snake is on Jerry Jeudy. Narrowly a very prop stars-esque pick for the Snake at plus 1,000. AB, come explain yourself. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Now, look, let me say this. All right, I'm going Melvin Gordon again. I went Ezekiel Elliott last night, path of least resistance. That's my way into the club. But I do want to say Joshua Palmer, and I need to go full screen on this one. Joshua Palmer, okay? You went with him. The wide receiver, you know where he played? A little school called the University of Tennessee.
That's
go! My dog.
Let's go!
Hey, Josh Palmer is my dog. We rep him big time. You're getting in the club tonight. It's coming. Absolutely, it's coming. There you go. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. By the way, somebody said they've seen Joshua Tree 232 times, or you two 32 times. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I was like, hey, what the hell is that? All right. Making people think. All right. We've only got 7 minutes till the start of the game. We need to do our best bets very quickly and get the hell out of Dodge. So, Mikey, what are you on tonight as far as your side, please?
All right, it's the Denver Broncos plus 5 from Tuesday. I know the number is down to 3.5 now. Obviously, big time movement in my favor. I feel great about it. However, it does move through a pretty significant number of 4. So I really don't want you out there playing a bunch of 3.5s. Of course, I think that they're live to win outright. But I really, really want this at 4 or better with a push condition alive. So I would hold off at 3.5, and I would make sure you start watching the mega preview on Tuesdays.
Yeah, please watch the mega preview on Tuesdays. How many times does M Squared have to tell you that? All right, see ya. Go.
Yeah, the hot hand is Joshua Kelly as far as the backup running backs are concerned. He's getting touches. He had 10 rushes last week. He had 2 targets, caught both of them. He's getting the red zone work. I like Joshua Kelly over 21.5 rushing yards in what should be a run-heavy script for the Chargers.
All right, Alex, you're up.
Yep, I'm going Melvin Gordon over 70.5 combined rushing and receiving yards. I'm tentatively expecting Melvin Gordon to be the RB1 for this Broncos. This number has come down a couple yards, I think largely because Latavius Murray will be active. I was anticipating that this whole time. I still like this prop. I do want to give everybody all the information, though, to make the best decision, but I still like Melvin Gordon over 70.5 combined rushing and receiving yards.
And I am on Justin Herbert over 261.5 passing yards. He's gone north of this number in 4 out of 5 games, over 300 a couple of times. I just think tonight they are going to need to do this, and I think he's going to really have success in the air against the Broncos. Zach Attack is on the Broncos with Mikey. KJ Hamler also over 22.5 receiving yards. RJ White, Broncos-Chargers under tonight. So we do have somebody on the total. And then our man Spectre, boy, is he smart. Austin Ekeler over 60.5 rush yards. He's one of our new really genius people at SportsLine. I don't know what else to call him, but he's on our team, and we're certainly happy to have him. And then AB's on the Broncos first half team total over 9.5, and then Justin Herbert over a half interception. That we have a showdown from a fan in the chat like we do all the time. All right. We like to end every single show asking my guys what the one thing they're most looking forward to in this game so you can use it tonight or perhaps in the future. Mikey, start us off.
Just looking forward to cashing a donkey and a goose parlay while the Broncos cover the 5-point spread in this game. That's it.
See ya, go.
AFC West is really interesting. The Kansas City Chiefs are certainly the leaders. And honestly, if the Raiders had just beat them last week, this game would be even more interesting because it would be so crowded in that division. But whoever wins this, I think the Chargers have a real shot to win the AFC West, and they got to win this game if they're going to do that.
Prop stars, talk to me.
I'm looking forward to a battle between two of the best players at their respective positions. That's Big Mike Williams against Pat Surtain, wide receiver versus cornerback, mano a mano. Both these guys are elite. They're going to be battling all night. Can't wait to see it.
All right, you know what? I am nothing if not a man of my word, and I have never backed down from a showdown. I have a great record against everybody else, but not M squared. What's the number you want, Mikey? What's the number you want to make this a showdown?
Well, I mean, of course I want 5. That's where I played it at. But I would say at least 4 to keep the push condition alive for everyone.
Is
either
4
way,
fair? You want to do 4?
I mean, let me check quickly where it is in the market because I haven't seen the 3.5s yet because I've been on the show the whole time.
It's only 3.5 off.
I'll give you 4, Coach.
You'll give me 4 and you'll take the Broncos?
Correct.
So minus
4.
4.
Yeah, 4's good.
4's good. So 2 showdowns.
Okay.
AB, if you don't mind, hit the music.
It's gonna be a showdown.
Football gods do not fail me 2 nights in a row. If you miss a field goal to cover it, I'm going to be so hot tonight. I'm going to be so hot. But, man, this is fun. It is so much fun. All right, I got a showdown with Mikey, who I've never beaten, by the way, and a showdown with Alex, who I've beaten a ton, by the way. But he won the last one, so I'll give him credit for that. All right, we've got to get out of here and watch the game. There's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window, except for the Broncos +5. Tell all your friends. You want to have fun. You want to be included. You want to be educated and entertained. Is any other show, any other brand doing that? I say no. We do it all the time, every day, every show, every sport at the Early Edge. Good luck.